Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Racha, Kodesh. Double honors to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone, and peace and blessings to the elect. And in this lesson, I wanted to deal with the reason as to why, or one of the reasons, I should say, as to why we teach, and we do these lessons, as to edify, and feed the Lord's sheep as he commanded us, even starting with the Apostle Peter. But also, for you men out there who are capable and the Spirit is on, we're teaching you so that you can become teachers as well. All right, so it's not just that you just listen and get edified, but when you listen and you learn and you study, do it in such a way that you are learning the ways, not only understanding the scriptures, but also how then can you break down the scriptures. So you may watch a particular video or listen to a certain lesson, but don't just stop there. Okay, you have to do your homework as well. Meaning you have to understand, how is the precept broken down, get some context around it, and if somebody was to ask you, or if you were to explain that to somebody else, how would you do it? Would you be able to do it? What are some examples you could use? Okay, these are good ways to think as you learn and you grow, so that you can go out there and put in that work, because ultimately we have a job to do, right? Which is to prophesy against this place. We're a prophet of course onto the Israelites, but onto these other nations as well. But we know, pursuant to let's go there real quick, the book of Matthew chapter 24 verse 14, right, that the end is going to come after the gospel has been preached throughout the whole planet, right? So this is the book of Matthew chapter 24 verse 14. It says, "And this gospel of the kingdom shall be preached in all the world for a witness unto all nations, and then shall the end come." And this is in line with when the disciples asked the Lord for a sign, or indications of his return. He goes through and then he describes the wars and rumors of wars. He describes the people who would come in the claiming to be sent by the anointed, claiming to be the ones that the Lord is dealing with, and deceive many. All right, he warns about nations rising against nations, earthquakes, pestilence, famines. Right? But then he goes on to verse 11, "And many false prophets shall rise and shall deceive many." And we're seeing that now. Okay, the love of many waxing cold. And then he mentions that the gospel of the kingdom, which what we're teaching, ultimately it all ties into the kingdom anyway. Because at the forefront of our ministry, we deal with prophecy. It's important to know the history, because understanding the history gives you the context of the scriptures. You get a well-rounded understanding of what happened and how it correlates to what is happening and what will happen. All right, it's like trying to, like walking into a movie theater in the middle of the movie, and without understanding what happened prior to you getting into the movie theater, you can still watch the movie, you can still try to catch on, but it'll be a lot clearer if you understand what happened before. So it's important to understand the context and the history and all that in the scriptures. But at the forefront is prophecy, right? What's happening now and what's about to happen. And ultimately that all ties into what? The kingdom. Okay? The whole message behind it all is repenting, because the kingdom is nigh. And when you go into detail and you break that down and break it apart, then you get the MOTB, which is an aspect that also fits into this, right? That the kingdom can't come except that happens first. So guess what? The prophecy of the mark, it's on the road to the kingdom. The prophecy of the destruction is on the road to the kingdom. All of these things, everything ultimately leads to the kingdom, right? So this gospel, this good news, shall be preached in all the world, which the way that's happening now is by the internet. Because when we don't have to physically travel all around the world, that the heavy lifting is done by this internet, and we do these lessons and we put it on the internet, and then that basically carries it all around the planet and it circulates. So the more of us there are, the better it is, because the faster the job gets done, right? If there's one video, circulating all throughout, there's a chance that it'll get to different parts of the world. And there's also a chance that it might take a year or 2 or 3 or 5 before it gets there. However, if you have, instead of one, you have 1,000 or, 2,000 or 5,000, 50,000, the more videos you have going out, the greater the chances are that somebody will hear it, somebody that is of the elect. And when they do, the seed will be planted and the Lord will take it from there. But that's why it's important. As they say, the more the merrier. So as it says here, and then shall the end come. So we know that a part of the prophecy of the destruction coming is that this gospel has to be preached out. Now, why is that? Because let's jump to Revelation chapter 7, verse 1. And this will tie in. This is Revelation chapter 7, verse 1. It says, and after these things, I saw 4 angels standing on the 4 corners of the earth, holding the 4 winds of the earth, that the wind should not blow on the earth, nor on the sea, nor on any tree. Which the 4 angels holding the winds back represent them holding back the destruction, because the destruction of this place, in all the forms that it manifests in, ultimately being a nuclear war, is going to happen regardless. But it's a matter of time. Okay, so if the time is not up yet, that destruction cannot be unleashed. These angels who have jobs, in particulars, some to work on the minds of different kings, some to work on clearing paths, natural disasters, all of these things that will all ultimately play a role in leading to the fulfillment of these prophecies. They don't act until they have the go ahead. But let's see why. Why are these angels holding back the winds? Verse 2, and I saw another angel ascending from the east, having the seal of the living God. And he cried with a loud voice to the 4 angels to whom it was given to hurt the earth and the sea, saying, hurt not the earth, neither the sea, nor the trees, till we have sealed the servants of our God in their foreheads. See, so the end correlates with the destruction, and just like Yahushua prophesied, the end wouldn't come until the gospel was preached throughout all the earth. Likewise, in Revelation, the angel told him, don't unleash the destruction until the servants have been sealed in their foreheads. So how would those servants be sealed in their foreheads? By the word of the Lord going out and them hearing it. Okay, so then that leads me back to the point, which is we're teaching you so that you can teach, right? So that you can spread the gospel and do whatever you can in your power to contribute to the ministry. Okay, it's all about contributing to the work, because the more work we get done, Lord willing, the more, the faster it gets out there, which at this point is pretty much all throughout. Okay, but we don't know the details in the spirit as to why it's still tarrying, as it says in the book of Habakkuk. Okay, so now let's get the book of Matthew. Let me see. I believe I already read this, but let's go there. Nope. This is the book of Matthew, chapter 22. All right, maybe I must have jotted down the wrong precept. But that's all right. If the point returns to me, then I'll bring it out again if it be the Lord's will. All right, but let's get yep, man, it just came back. Brakthaya Basham Yahushai. So I think it might be in Matthew 22 and... Yeah, let me just look it up. Harvest. Okay. All right. This is Matthew chapter. There we go. 22 and 14. All right. This is the book of Matthew chapter 22, verse 14. And it reads, "For many are called, but few are chosen." Okay. And many are called, right? You see that there are a lot of people, a lot of individuals, and you even hear about it, that have come into this ministry at one point or at some point, and have somewhat labored. Okay, some labored for a good period of time, some for a short season, but nevertheless, guess what? The Lord used them to still contribute, because that was an extra mouth, right? An extra teacher out there, an extra voice that would spread the word even more. But once the Lord decided that their time was up, then once again, it was made known that they weren't chosen. So indeed, what happened was they ended up being marked. So not only did the word get to them, but the Lord used them to spread the word even further, and then that's where their story ends. Okay, but the point here is that many are called, but few are chosen, and meaning that we're not here. This gospel is not meant for the whole planet, in the sense that it's not going to be good news to the whole planet. Okay, it's for a few, which makes the search even harder, right? So if you're dealing with in America, for example, right, 1/3, meaning out of every 3, 1 is who we're looking for. And the more teachers there are out there, the better it is, the better the odds are. Now we understand that regardless, if there was only one person teaching, the word of the Lord will still go out according to his will. Okay. But in any case, it's still important, that if you're capable, learn quick, that you can start to teach. It's not a bad thing. It's actually something you should yearn for, as the Apostle Paul said. Now this is the book of Luke chapter 10, verse 2. "Therefore said he unto them, The harvest truly is great, but the laborers are few. Pray ye therefore the Lord of the harvest, that he would send forth laborers into his harvest." See, so right now we're liking on to the laborers. Okay, and there's a lot of work that needs to be done, even in this time. Okay, so we pray that the Lord, hasten the days and wakes up who needs to be woken up, and have the things that need to be put in place before other things can go down happen, which we're seeing happening. So we know that the work is going, is moving out. The word is moving quick, because see, by the time, if these devils get to the point where they get so fed up, they just put a heavy censorship on the internet, or they collapse it for a period of time, or they just make it in a way where our videos and our kind of content is not allowed to go on it. Maybe you need a special account before you can access it, whatever the case is. By the time that they do that, it would already be too late. And we will know, okay, by the time the famine of the word comes, we will know that whoever needs to hear this word has already heard it. That is why in wisdom, in the book of 2nd Ezra 5, it even talks about it. And in Amos 8 and 11, it talks about the famine. The Lord is not going to withdraw his word when there's still need for somebody, to hear it. Okay, he's going to do it after everybody who needs to hear it has heard it. And that's pretty much everybody. Now, how they react to it is different. But nevertheless, once this word, this ministry has accomplished its job, then that's it. Guess what? Going back, to when Yahushua was on the scene with the apostles, the ministry, they were teaching, right? And the ministry had a job to accomplish. And when it did that, eventually you had the siege of Jerusalem, you had the falling away, and the gospel it became as none. Right? The secrets, they withdrew themselves. The Lord withdrew the knowledge, the correct and true understanding back again. And now in this time, he is open up those doors again for it to yet fulfill its purpose yet again. And once that time is up, then the Lord is going to take his word back. Okay? And at that point, it's just going to be the fulfillment of these prophecies. And then we're living in one of the most crucial times ever. Okay? The most major parts of the scriptures are what's about to take place in our lifetime. And some people might find it scary. They don't really want to hear about it because it's scary, but that's really the wrong approach. It's going to be scary regardless. Whether you decide you don't want to hear about it now, or whether you open up your ears and listen, it's still going to be, if it's scary, it's scary. All right, we know it's going to be dangerous. We know it's going to be a horrific time, but it doesn't do you any good to say that because it sounds scary, I don't want to hear it now, because that does not mean that because you didn't hear it now, it goes away or it disappears. What it means is you're likely to be in a greater shock when the next time you encounter it, because the next time you encounter it, it won't be by the words of somebody. It'll be by your experience going through it, which is much harder. And in fact, it would behoove you to know about it now so you can know what to do. So your mind can at least be ready to brace for it, to desensitize it a bit. And you can prepare. You can have more time to prepare. Okay. Nevertheless, there are some that will take heed and there are some that won't. Our job is not to make you do anything. Our job is just to give you the message. You are already programmed with what you need, and the word is going to activate that. So for those that are programmed to be teachers, when you hear the word, it will carry on and blossom into that. For those that are not, those that are meant to just, be continuing their wicked ways, guess what? Once this word enters your mind, you're going to be marked for that. And those that are meant to be helpers, or just the cloud of witnesses, the believers, guess what? Once you hear the word, whatever the Lord has put in your spirit to do is going to happen. Our job is just to push the word out. And so the more teachers there are, the better. Anyway, with that, I'm going to end it here. Lord willing, that was edifying to the elect. In closing, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rachak, Wadash. And until next time, Shalom.